This is our third annual Latino Professional Day. What we have decided to do is have this professional day along with our Institute Day, which is on a yearly basis, usually mid-year, to refresh, to regroup, to reconnect with our staff, kind of a mid-year check-in. And this year is about refueling our passion and why we got into social work, what are our coping mechanisms, what can we do to be more effective workers, because it's all about the families that we work with, our children and families. That's our mission and our focus. And so having these tools, having these events, having this networking opportunity does refuel the spirit, does refuel us so that we can go out and serve our families in a spirit of excellence, so that they can reunify, or we can prevent a family from coming into care and serve them and give them the resources that they need, or reunify them and connect the family with the resources so they can go back home. Or if there's an adoption and I'm definitely a supporter of adoption, having that adopted child going to a forever home.
And this is the third year.
This is our third year. We're excited about this. Our first year we were at Northeastern Illinois University, second year at San Agustin, and now at UIC. We're creating partnerships with all of them. And UIC has extended this ongoing. They said as long as we want to come here, that we are welcome, so we have another partner. And it's really about being pro-Latino and pro-service and professional development. We have speakers that are from our department or POS that are high professionals with master's degrees, LCSW, and years of experience. We don't need to go outside anywhere else. We have our own people internally that are our experts, statewide experts, and they're very effective. And they understand the plight that we're going through. They've been workers and supervisors. They're in the mix still in our department. And so this is a successful day for us. We're excited. We look forward to the other professional development days that we're going to have in the future. So you build each year.
So today's conference was about self-care. All of us as workers, as people who help other people, we have to practice self-care so that we can continue being good helpers. But even before we got to the workshops, I felt it was important to really define stress and trauma and some of the basic differences between being burned out, being under stress, which all affects our physical bodies, but then trauma in itself really affects our personality, affects our own personal psyche about who we are. Trauma changes us. And so in order for us to help other people, we really need to understand ourselves. So we have to view trauma also from a personal historical lens. And so we need to be aware and mindful of what we've experienced in our lives, how trauma has affected us personally. Because there's a few things that happen when we work with other people and other people who have been through trauma. A lot of times we share some of the same experiences. So sometimes it triggers us, our reactions. And so if we're not mindful of this, and if we don't practice self-help to get us in a really good psychological, mental health state, then it's really hard for us to help people who are chronically under stress, who are chronically have multiple trauma, complex trauma, which means many different instances of trauma. And so how can we help them if we don't know how trauma has affected us personally? So that was part of it, to make everyone aware and mindful of where they're coming from in their life and how that might affect their professional life as they become helpers, helping people to transform their lives. Because we are agents of change, but it begins with us. We start with ourselves. Who are we? What have we been through? What do we believe? Because all of that has an effect on the jobs that we do. So when we have a good sense of who we are, when we have a good sense of how we help ourselves, what are our self-help practices, and we practice them actually, then we are more able to help other people. There's so much trauma in the world. All you have to do is live. And you have to have at least one traumatic experience in your life. And some of us are more resilient. vicarious resilience is something that we talked about, because when we have become resilient people, then we can transfer that knowledge, those values, those practices of becoming resilient to trauma to our clients, and so that their resilience comes from us because we're on a high place. One of the things that I talked about was that we cannot help our clients if we're sinking or swimming in the same sea that they're drowning in. And so, because you have to help from a position of strength, so you have to strengthen yourself. If you're sinking in the same sand that your client is sinking in, then you can't pull them up. You have to be standing on firm ground.
If the patient is not aware of what's going on, to a very frightening, traumatic.
Barrera, like I don't let that
Penetrating more than you think and connecting. We just have to remember.
therapy, but we are involved consistently in the community.
Maybe thinking about things outside of today.